driving in the rain, just driving in the rain. What a glorious feeling. I'm happy again. Just driving in the rain. Do 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 do. Never said I could sing, folks. Never said I could sing. Let's get you tilted up. There we go. Boop, 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 boop. There we go. Oh no, a turn. Whatever shall I do? Pretty sharp turn. Whee! Okay. Do 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 do. Whee! Do 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 do. Ugh. Normally I'd be listening to music or something, but copyright strikes. I just don't like those. Kami-sama, I don't like copyright strikes. Do 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 do. The amount of people driving in the rain, just driving in the rain. Ugh. Look, they can't even stay in the lines. They got a Jeep and can't stay in the lines. That's ridiculous. It's supposed to rain all day. Eventually, all that water you see in the ditch to the right there, getting closer to where I was at, it's going to spill onto the road. And I can't believe how bad this Jeep is driving. Oh, wait, I see Oklahoma tags. Never mind, that explains so much. Okay, anyways. I say that's where I kind of grew up. I was born in Texas, but raised in Oklahoma. I don't like claiming that usually. So, there's always that. Okay. Now, throwing it out there, I do drive an Impreza RS, so if I wanted to, I could have passed this person. There's not a point in it. I drive like the reality of my life, and that is, I can't afford the ticket. So, or actually, not that I can't afford the ticket, it's just that I feel I could spend my money better for me than the city could, so therefore I'm not giving it to them unless if I absolutely have to. Does that make sense? Something I've never understood. If people would properly signal lane changes, like the law says you're supposed to, which, I'm literally of the, how do I say this? As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to do a public information request, actually, of how many tickets the two biggest cities around me in Denison, or in Texas, which is Denison and Sherman, how many tickets have they actually written for improper lane change? Got to look up the statute so that I can, get that. How many have they? I guarantee you they're going to be like, well, that's too cumbersome to do. And I'm just like, how do you report to the courts? Because that's kind of what happens. And I'm almost willing to guarantee you the number is 0. It's like, why is there a law for something there is 0 tickets written for? Maybe I should do it with one of the bigger cities in Dallas, too. Or in Dallas, in Texas as well. Maybe I should do it for Dallas. Maybe I should just do it for Dallas and Houston. And be like, we have a law in the books. It's a ticketable offense. And in my personal opinion, is probably the number one reason wrecks are caused on the highway is people fail to signal their lane changes, or their turns even, for a matter of fact. And we have a law in the books, but no one's getting tickets written for it, right? Guarantee you, talking to the state senate about that would be hilarious as hell. I can see the greedy little minions rubbing their hands together, going, "Oh my God, this is revenue we're missing out on." Which is sad when they look at, being able to fine a behavior as revenue. That's right. Think about that. We're paying them for breaking the rules, right? It almost seems like we built our own prison, and we don't even realize it. I mean, hypothetically, since most prisons are built through tax dollars other than the private prison industry, which I'm pretty sure those in some way are also paid for by us in the long run. Um, we have built our own prisons for people to stay in. The irony of it all. But in all honesty, the world's a completely screwed up place. We used religion to control people. Good old moral, God-fearing Christian people. But when you set certain things like certain classes of people based on their status of power or position, you kind of make them unreproachable or unquestionable. Like, how dare you question that police officer, or how dare you question that judge, or how dare you question the President of the United States? How dare you question the senator? How dare you question that preacher or that priest? And it's when you do that, you make a position quote unquote untouchable. You start getting undesirable people in there, people who have bad intentions looking for those positions. You're like, well, no one's going to do that. Now, to all of my friends who are liberal, right, I think you might be on the cusp of it because of Trump being elected. In your opinion, y'all think he's a criminal and all that stuff, all right? So you can't sit here and say, well, that doesn't happen. Because by your own admissions, it has. Same thing with Republicans, though. It has. It's happened. It happens a lot. Or the Epstein files would have been released already. Can I have a cinnamon roll in two cream-filled eclairs? Yes. Thank you. I was looking for the right word there. Ooh. I see the Dubai chocolate donut, and I'm saying to myself, dear God, do they even know what Dubai chocolate really is named after? I wish I didn't know what it was named after. But according to Charlie of Macroaggressions, it was named after a deviant sexual practice that is often done in Dubai with some of the young hot models these people entertain. It's not nice. It's actually very gross. So, but yeah. You said 585, right? There you go. Will do. You have the same. Oh, I am so tired of it, though. But the other thing that pisses me off is you have both parties, too, right? This is the thing, like, people get mad at me, like, well, you say blah, blah, blah party, blah, blah, blah. I voted for both Democrats and Republicans. I don't care as long as they have a good idea, right? I don't put the party blinders on. I should probably register as an independent, but here in Texas, pretty much it's a red state for the most part. So, but they both both of them go, oh, term limits for Congress and House of Representatives. Both sides stated out their wazoos, but they don't pass it. They have no intention of passing it. But see, here's the thing. We, the people, don't need a law to force a term limit. All we need to do is just, in the primary, vote against the person who stayed over 2 terms. That's it. It's a pretty simple solution. We don't have to have a law, but we don't do it. Why? Because we're complacent. We're comfortable. We don't even want to bother up who's currently the person. Or we vote for the name we recognize. We don't care. All right? And I've been anti-incumbent for I don't know how long. All right? I hate to say it, but if they're currently in office and you are currently not happy with the way things are, they either can't influence enough other people to make a difference, or they're part of the problem. Either way, they're part of the problem. So, yeah. I mean, we spend money. We spend tons of money bombing non-white people all the damn time. And I'm not sitting here trying to say that we're a racist nation, but, you know, I can't think of a time we've dropped a F-ton of bombs on anyone who wasn't white. So, I can't think of an F-ton of bombs I said wasn't white. I can't think of any time our country has, like, literally just bombed into the Stone Age any country that was filled with white people. Okay? Like, you know, we nuked Japan in World War II, but we just did, you know, small bombings and, you know, more intricate bombings in the European areas. All right? So it's kind of like, you know, there is some fact there. I mean, I've always had a problem with the United States basically trying to dictate who can and can't have nuclear material, saying, well, they're going to use them on people, when we're the only nation in the world that has literally nuked any other country. The hypocrisy of it, to me, is just ridiculous. Has been since I was a kid. I was like, so we got to use our nukes on people, and then we tell people they can't use theirs. So, just funny things I muse about sometimes. But, you know, what was it someone was saying? I cannot remember. It's like in the tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions, to produce a missile, something like that. How much funding could we do for education? Now that's the other big problem, is education. Okay? How do I say this? Both sides want to indoctrinate the kids in school. All right, one side wants to push heavy religion, the other side wants to push bullshit science that's not real. I think government being in charge of education is a terrible idea, but at the same time, a lot of people don't value education. But I'm really honestly thinking the reason they don't value education, and this is coming from a former teacher themselves, is because, well, we've made it for years useless. I'm sorry, but when I graduated my high school class, I had the second highest ACT score. All right, meaning that, you know, an ACT test is general knowledge you should have gotten up through high school that you should retain. If you cannot retain the information, if you don't remember it, you didn't learn it. You just learned to put it in temporary storage to take a test. And that's why teachers hate testing, because it hate standardized tests, because Well, we don't know exactly what's going to be on it, so we can't prep you for those specific answers or those specific questions. Well, no shit. It's to test what you've retained. You should have covered how to go about that problem at some point during the entirety of the year. If you didn't cover it, then you didn't teach it. It's pretty damn simple. Okay? And unfortunately, our society, especially now with all the brain rot, social media, yes, I know I'm posting on social media now, ha ha ha, but the brain rot, our attention span is below 30 seconds. And it actually, the last article I read about attention span said the goldfish has a longer attention span than most humans do. That is, that's nuts. That's insane. Okay? And granted, there are some things, I will be honest with you, that I think are a waste of time being taught in school. A total waste of time for the majority of people. I think they should be, how do we say it? I don't want to say electives, but they shouldn't be forced to be taken, but they, like, if you decide on a career path, you should take them in high school, right? Like trigonometry and geometry. I hate saying it, but the last time I pulled out one of the little compasses and stuff, since I actually was taught it in school, is absolutely zero. Okay? And I've worked in the corporate office doing inventory control. I've managed and updated websites using HTML and CSS and, well, HTML is inside of CSS. But anyways, I've done that. I've been a teacher. What else have I done? Oh, I was a book buyer. I've worked retail. I've processed film. I've done a lot of things. Can't name them all, but not once have I ever had to pull out that protractor or the compass and use it. Not once. Okay? Now, I will say that when I'm doing theater stuff and I'm building sets, a lot of people, like, I'm around, never use it, but I actually pull out a square. I do pull out a square and a tape measure quite often for that. But, yeah, same thing, trigonometry, and I'm not going to use that in real life. You need to learn basic algebra. X plus y, x plus 5 equals 10. What is x? Right? We need to be able to find that missing variable with the solution on the other side, right? Basically, it's called, you know, they call math things problems, right? Well, when you have the answer to the problem, the way I always view that is you're finding out what caused the problem, right? Or what the problem is. When you're given the answer and half the problem, what's the other part of the problem, right? That's how I've always viewed it, and it makes it easier, for me at least. Well, that's a logical function, right? If you have something happen that you need to fix, you know part of it, you know the thing that happened, which is the answer. Now, what's the answer to the problem? How you fix it, right? Okay, we've got the fix, we've got what started it, what caused it to have to get to that part? It's pretty easy. Pretty easy when you look at things in those kinds of terms. In pattern recognition, but we need to really start working on this, being able to retain and memorize information. And I honestly, to God, think that the memory span issue is being groomed by either side of the aisle. People up above, the oligarchs of the world, the people who run everything behind the scenes, want us to have no memory. Okay? If you've ever read 1984, Winston, the main character, would find articles and change them so that the party created everything. It wasn't the Wright brothers who created an airplane, it was the party. Okay? Well, he was apparently burning pieces of paper, but it wouldn't make no sense to make the change on the paper and then burn it, unless if that changed every paper that had ever been done. So I think that book was revolutionary, but he didn't have the technology or the words or the thoughts to say exactly how that was changing everything. But we have that today, the internet. Okay? They can go back, especially if you're buying every movie digitally or every book digitally, they can go back and update that shit anytime they want. You know, if you're connected to the internet, bam, it's changed. You can be like, I don't remember this being this way. If you have a physical book, you can pull it out. Like, for instance, the word racism. Nowadays, it says something completely different than what my 3rd edition College of British Dictionary, American Heritage Dictionary, as a matter of fact, said back in 1999, or I can't remember which year it was released. I got mine in 99. But, you know, the definition used to be someone who thought their race was superior to all others, or someone who makes a judgment on another person based on race. Okay? That's what the definition used to be, but they changed it. And if you bring it up, they're like, oh no, it's always been this way. No, it hasn't. They want you to not remember. So anyways, I'm about to go back inside, pulling into my carport here, my redneck carport. Gonna eat my breakfast, and I'll see y'all later tonight.